In this video, I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite books on love, dating, relationships, and marriage. I've read these books, they've changed my life, and I hope in some way they can change yours as well. Because it's not good enough to find love nowadays, is it? Many people find love, supposedly, if it's real love, but there's a 50% divorce rate, so it's not good enough to know how to find love. We have to know how to keep love, how to make love work, and how to live for happily ever after. And these books will help you to do that. Hello everyone, my name is Bryan Mercier. If you haven't been here before, people call me Catholic Bryan, and I'm the founder and president of Catholic Truth, an organization that's dedicated toward explaining the Catholic faith and teaching people about life and living. So welcome. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button so you can get more videos like this one. And in this video, we're going to be talking about books. The best books, my favorite books for love and relationships. The first two books are very similar, written by the same person, Pope John Paul II, and they both changed my life. To be fair, they're deep. And the first one is Theology of the Body. It's extremely thick. It's a big read. I mean, I've not read the whole thing, but the parts I have changed my life. And the second one that I liked even more was Love and Responsibility. The first time I read it, I threw it across the room because I couldn't even understand a paragraph of what this book was saying. And I had to have someone work with me in this. So it's really deep. If you don't understand philosophy, it might be a challenging read. If you do, it literally will change your life. If I open this book, every page is underlined all over the place, and it has mind-transforming things. Now, I'm a Catholic speaker. I've been speaking for many, many years. I speak on chastity, love, relationships, and after reading this book, I said, I don't even know what love is. I don't even know what I was preaching. This brought it to a whole new level. It literally is mind-boggling how it presents the human person, how it presents love, chastity, marriage, and things you would never expect in this book. One of the things he says is that you can tell how much you love someone, not by the feelings that are generated between you and the other person, but by how much responsibility you feel for their souls. Think about that. How much responsibility you feel for them as a person, for their souls, for getting them to heaven. Some people, they say they love people, but then they lead them down the other path through sexual sins. If we truly love someone, then we would want to do what's good for them and keep them away from anything that will harm them spiritually, emotionally, physically, or in any other way. The second book, which is a great book for beginners, teens, young adults, anyone on the subject really, is If You Really Love Me by Jason Everett. It's 100 questions on everything you've probably ever asked or ever wanted to know on sexuality, love, dating, marriage, how far is too far, all the questions that people ask. What can you do? What can't you do? When should you get married? What age is good? I mean, all of these are just practical, good questions. And the way they're answered are phenomenal. Jason Everett is one of the best on this subject in the country and in the world. So I like this book a lot. I highly recommend it. And as always, I'll be putting them down in the description section if you forget what they are. Speaking about sexuality and dating and marriage, this book by Christopher West, The Good News About Sex and Marriage, is a good short little treatment of what Christian Catholic marriage and sexuality is about. He answers certain questions that a lot of people don't answer. He tackles subjects that people don't want to tackle because they think they're taboo, and so they just leave people in the dark. But Chris West does a good job of tackling these issues and a good job of giving examples. Speaking about sex and marriage, one of the best books on the subject is called Holy Sex, a Catholic Guide to Toe Curling, Mind-Blowing, Infallible, Loving. Notice it didn't say sex, it said loving. This is the best book that I know of about sex in marriage. What can you do as a spouse? People message me on YouTube or social media all the time. They're like, if we're married, can we do this and this? Does it have to go this way? Are you allowed to have the freedom to do this in marriage? This covers those questions, which most books don't do. And it's not in a pornographic way like a lot of the ones in the secular world do. This is a manual on how to love your spouse and have the best love life possible, not just sexually, in bed, in the bedroom, but in your marriage completely. This is a great book and I highly recommend it. For all you ladies out there who are distressed about not being able to find a guy, not being able to have a good guy, maybe you compromise, you keep finding bad guys. If you're the one who keeps finding bad guys, this is the book for you. It's called How to Find Your Soulmate Without Losing Your Soul. It's by Jason and Kristalina Everett, and it's 21 secrets that women need to know about guys. It's a good book. Not that I've read it or anything, I've just heard it's a good book for women. Yeah. As for marriage, one of my favorite books, and there's a lot of good books on marriage, but Gregory Popcak, who is a Catholic psychologist, he wrote the book For Better Forever. It's a Catholic lifelong guide to marriage, and it's great. It's wonderful. This book goes through everything you would want to know for marriage. It talks about the secret of marital bliss. It talks about the different types of marriages, whether you have a shipwrecked marriage, a really bad marriage, or whether you have a marriage made in heaven. And that's what the book is. It's presenting the top 7% of exceptional marriages. It shows why they're exceptional, and it shows you how to get there, and to avoid all the potholes that keep you from having an exceptional marriage. So maybe your marriage is stale. Maybe you've got into bad fighting, and maybe you've got into bad habits of just yelling at each other and not even listening anymore, and you're emotionally responding to each other, and you're just in these bad habits, and you need to get out of that and take your marriage to the next level. This is the book for you. It gives the 10 commandments of how to argue and not argue, how to communicate with your spouse, and how to have the best marriage possible. He also has a book for engaged couples as well. He also has another book for surviving the first 5 years of marriage. So this is one of my favorites, though. My wife and I read it when we were engaged to prepare ourselves for marriage. Quite frankly, now we've been married 12 years, and I think it's time to read it again. It's a great book, and I'm going to read it. A book that I haven't read, and it's the only book that I haven't read on this list, and people recommend it. It's a 5-star rating everywhere you look, and there's a whole series of it, and it's really to help you in your love and relationships. And it's called The Temperament That God Gave You. The classic key guide to knowing yourself, to getting along with others, and to growing closer to Christ the Lord. Now, they also have the temperament that God gave your spouse. If you fight a lot with your spouse, if you're always clashing, you just can't understand each other, you know you love each other, but you don't ever feel loved in your marriage, then you might want to get the temperament God gave your spouse, because you're missing the love language that God gave you or that God gave your spouse, and you're not loving them the way they need to be. There's also the temperament that God gave your children, so you can understand your children and the temperaments that they have as well. Speaking of love languages, the classic book, The 5 Love Languages, is a book on how to love your spouse or your girlfriend, boyfriend, people in life the way they need to be loved, not the way we feel like being loved. Now, a lot of people just love people the way they know how and the way they want to be loved themselves. If you love chocolate and you love getting a gift of chocolate, then you give that to somebody else because you love it. It doesn't matter if they love it or not. You love the chocolate, and they might not even like it at all, but you give it to them, and that's not a gift. That's an anti-gift because they don't even love chocolate. In fact, you should give them something that they like, even if you don't. Some people are visual. Some people are auditory. So you could say you love someone 1,000 times a day because you're auditory. But if that person's visual and they need to see it in writing, they need to see it in how you clean the house and show them that you love them, you could say it all day long and they're going to go feeling unfulfilled and unloved. This is, quite frankly, one of the biggest reasons that couples who love each other miss each other in marriage. And their marriages go cold and dry and stale because we don't love each other the way they need to be loved. And that's difficult sometimes. If you're not kinesthetic and you don't like touch and you don't feel loved that way, you don't need to be cuddling all the time, but your spouse does, and that's not you, that's difficult. But unless you get outside of yourself and make the sacrifice to love your spouse the way they need to be loved and show them the love of God, then your marriage is not going to be exceptional. It's not going to excel, and it's not going to be everything it could be. These books help to bring our marriages and our love lives and just ourselves to the next level. Finally, a man who's wrote a lot of books, he's a Jesuit, and I don't usually recommend anything written by a Jesuit, but this guy actually speaks a lot of truth in his books on love and relationships. And this one is called The Secret of Staying in Love, and I found this book to be really well done. Especially if you're married, especially if you've been in relationships for a long time. How do you stay in love? How do you keep communicating? How do you avoid the pitfalls that will bring you away from love, help your relationship to become stale and dry and cold? And how do you keep becoming that loving couple that God made you to be and that you promised to be when you got married? Books like these really help us to grow. Never stop growing in your marriage. That's free advice right there. That's bonus advice. Never stop growing in your marriage, in your life, in your relationship. If you do, everything will fail. We need to commit to growth. Looking at ourselves, saying, hey, this is how I am. I don't like this aspect of myself. What needs to change? And then setting to work to change it. That's life. The last book I forgot about because I actually don't have it here. I think I lent it out to somebody, but it's my favorite book on dating and relationships and engagement. It's called Boundaries in Dating by Dr. Cloud and Dr. Townsend. And it's not boundaries like you can't do this, you can't do that. That's not what the book is about. The book is about healthy relationships and what a healthy relationship looks like and what unhealthy relationships look like and how to avoid them. These are the top 14 potholes that people fall into in relationships that kill love. It kills relationships. It kills anything that was there that was warm and fuzzy. And many times we settle for what we call love that is far less than love. If you want a great outline of what a healthy dating relationship looks like, a model relationship, then get this book. 97% of it applied to me when I was dating, and it helped me a ton. It makes so much sense, and our world all around us falls into all these potholes. They derail the train of love, and it just is lying on the tracks, crushed, broken. Why is there so much hurt in the world? Pain. Why is there so much fighting in relationships? This book will be a godsend to you. It'll help you. It's called Boundaries in Dating by Dr. Cloud and Dr. Townsend. Many people have asked many questions. What is the best book for this? What is the best book for that? If you didn't know, we have a whole series on our YouTube channel answering these questions. What's the best book to learn your faith? What is the best book to start out with to learn more about God, to learn more about the Catholic faith? We have a video on that. What are the best books on Catholic history? We're going to be making videos on that. We already have videos on the best apologetics books, the best spiritual books to help you come closer to God and to build your relationship with God. One of my favorite books, The Power of Silence, is my absolute new favorite book, and I have a whole video on that. So we have lots of videos on different topics. So if you're interested, check out our channel. Browse, peruse, snoop around, as Ace Ventura would say. And look around at these different videos and be inspired. If you like this video and you like this content, please subscribe. Please hit that bell notification icon so you can get the videos when they come out and be inspired. And please like this video, please share this video, and please support our ministry so we can make many more. Check out our Patreon page below. Please pray for me. I will be praying for you. Have a good day and God bless you.